Hey, it's Shannon from iHeartRadio Canada, joined by the series producer of This Is Pop, which is an 8-part documentary series that explores the untold stories from some of the biggest moments in pop music history. It's airing Saturdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CTV. Thank you, Amanda, for taking the time.
Oh, Shannon, I'm thrilled to be here and I'm super psyched to talk about the show.
Why do you think it was so important to tell the story and what made you want to explore this more?
Yeah, so when you look at other music series or other documentaries, often they're for people that already love that artist or already know everything about that genre, which is cool. I'm one of those people. I'm totally feeling that. But pop music is a different kind of thing, right? Like it's the soundtrack to our lives. It was what was playing on the radio when you came home from the hospital as a baby. It's what was happening at your school dances. It's like your favorite tape that you wore out as a kid. So everybody has some connection to pop music. And I don't think it's ever been treated like this in a series or in serious docs. So that's why we wanted to do it. And the way that we approached it, I think will surprise people.
Yeah, definitely. I've only seen the first episode so far, but I already get that from people. And I work in pop music radio. And it's interesting for me because anytime I tell somebody that I work in pop music, they're like, oh yeah, I don't really listen to that. Or they kind of like shrug it off. But why do you think that is when pop literally stands for like the most popular music?
Yeah, I have two thoughts about that. One, pop music is like the sound of pop music in 1955 was totally different than 1975, totally different than 95 and from now. So there is no sound of pop music. It totally changes with the era. And honestly, I feel like often pop music is associated with younger women or girls and is seen as kind of fluffy or dumb and not worthy of actually studying and talking about, which I totally disagree with. And I think, things are starting. You look at the Britney Spears documentary that just came out, people are ready to talk about these artists and these ideas in a new and different way. And that's totally what we're trying to do with this series too.
Totally. What's something that you kind of learned throughout the creation of this? Was there anything that stuck out to you about pop music in general or the history of it?
It's, I've always been a big music freak. And so most of the artists that we talked to or talked about, I was familiar with them in some way. But what I didn't realize when we started doing the research, and this is research on Shania Twain when she went from country music to pop music, on ABBA and how they started, on where did Britney Spears record her first album. I didn't know any of that stuff. A lot of these pop artists are only seen through the music that they're putting out, or their videos, or how other people are talking about them. So there's just not a lot of research or work done on, well, how is it feeling and how are they as artists and how do they write this music? And if there is, it's usually in just really small sound bites during junkets. So for all of us, we do all this research, and I had amazing music journalists and directors working on this. We'd come up with ideas, but we'd be testing it. We didn't know until we actually went and interviewed the people if our hunches were right or not.
Definitely. What do you hope that people take away most from this whole series?
I think I'd like people to look at pop with a new eye and ear. Each episode is really almost a different genre of pop. We really look at the crossover between country and pop in our When Country Goes Pop episode. We look at the nature of the protest song, but if you listen to the songs within it, there's everything from Hosier's Take Me to Church to Public Enemy's Fight the Power, which sound very different, but both came from a place of protest. So there's also other ones about Swedish super producers where you hear a lot of Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears and Pink and Justin Timberlake, and they all sound different, but they're all from the same very small group of people. So I want people to watch the series and realize that music is not just for those that know every bit and piece about a genre and it's open to everyone, because this is music that is everywhere, but also that pop music is not just relegated to young people or to something that might be sickly sweet. Pop music is, as you said before, the most popular music in the world, and there's a reason for that.